Welcome to Talking Politics. I'm your host, Mia Scanga. As you can see, I don't have the other two candidates with me because unfortunately when I was doing the editing, I found the audio was poor for some reason and the video wasn't so hot. So I just couldn't broadcast that. So you won't be meeting with Anisha Luhar, who is an independent, and Darwin Ona, who is with the Education Matters team. They're both running for 3-year terms. I did contact both of them, and neither one of them said they were available until possibly next week. And the election is less than a month away, so I just couldn't wait. It wasn't fair for Gina and Anthony, who you'll be meeting next. As I've mentioned in the other two segments, the election is Tuesday, November 5th, and the polls are open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. You should be getting your sample ballots soon. In addition to Board of Ed, you have the Assembly seats, 3 of them, as well as Jersey City public question number 1 in regards to Airbnb. And I strongly recommend that you vote yes on that question. Now, there are 5 seats available out of a 9-person board. That's significant. It could change the agenda. It could change the whole temperament of the board. So the election is very important. And no one mentions the fact that Musab Ali, who was elected last November for a 3-year term, very smart guy, is on a fellowship in China and has been since August. And he's Skyping in for the meetings, but he won't have the time to attend, or won't be in the country to attend other committee meetings and such. And I'm sure he has his fellowship is his priority, which it should be. It's an act of love. If you're really dedicated to being on the board, it's a tremendous amount of time, and the public schools have some serious issues, especially in regards to financial. I'm just going to mention this. I hope people realize you don't have to vote a ticket. Split it. Pick the 3 people for 3-year terms that you think are the best, and the 2 for 1-year term. Really, you want the best person for the position, not a ticket. Okay. I mean, this is the first time we have a ticket supported by developers, but that's another story. But anyway, I want you to meet Gina and Anthony, and don't forget to vote. We're back again. You'll meet 2 more candidates. I have Anthony Sharperson and Gina Vertibello. They're both running for 1-year terms. So Anthony, why don't we start with you? Tell us a little bit about yourself, and you're with Change for Children.
Yes. My name is Anthony Sharperson. I'm a lifelong Jersey City resident. I attended public school as well. I'm a Jersey City firefighter for the last 10 years. I'm also an SID president. I attended NJCU. I have an elementary cert, as well as a concentration in alcohol and drug abuse counseling. I was a high school football coach at Snyder. Like I said, I'm an SID president. I've served on various boards. I've always been an advocate on the front line for my community, whether it's in the forefront or in the background. I've supported all types of issues throughout Jersey City, and that's what I want to bring to the Jersey City School Board, just a bridge of communication as well as a path to success for all our children in Jersey City.
All right, that's fine. Gina?
Hi.
What about yourself?
Thank you, Mia. My name is Gina Vertibello, and I am currently on the board. I was appointed in February of 2019.
And you replaced Amy DeGise?
I did.
Who became the head of the Hudson County Democratic Organization.
Correct. So I have 3 children that attend, 2 at MS4 and 1 at PS17. And prior to that, I was a parent advocate for many years. I ran 4 times, lost all 4 times, but kept coming back and kept advocating for our schools. I am the president of the Rotary Club of Jersey City. I also have a Girl Scout troop of 20 girls, right across the street from here, actually. And I've been fighting very hard to make the schools better, not just for my own, but for the 38,000 children in this district.
All right, that's wonderful. So, Anthony, it sounds like you have a pretty heavy schedule. I mean, this, from what I hear, between all the meetings and the committee meetings, it's a lot of work. So how are you going to fit it in?
Well, I've always been good at multitasking, but this issue of running for the school board is very important for me. So I've allocated a lot of time. I've set some things aside. I positioned my business to sort of run itself with my new manager.
And again, what kind of a business is it?
I actually own Cherry's Lounge. It's been in my family for 40 years. I've owned it since 2007.
What's the name of it again?
Cherry's Lounge is located on Martin Luther King Drive, like I said earlier. I serve the underserved of Jersey City. That's actually where my firehouse is as well, on the south side. So again, I've been dedicated to my community.
Oh,
all my
no,
life.
I understand. It's just
Yes.
that it's a very time-consuming endeavor, and it's an act of love. There's no compensation for it either. So are you hoping that it'll pivot you into a political career?
No, if I didn't state it earlier, I ran in 2010 and I stayed committed to my community. It wasn't about me using the school board as a stepping stone. It was just me activating myself and my community on a larger level, greater scale. So no, this is it for me.
Okay. Okay. And now, Gina, well, you're obviously running because you filled in and you've been there since February. What did you find? How did you find it? Because you ran, and once you get there, sometimes it's entirely different than what you expected. Was there anything in particular that you were surprised by?
Well, I mean, I was already attending a lot of meetings during either at the state level or local level. So for me, it was just like another bunch of meetings, but different. There were committee meetings and special meetings that we had during the year, and I love it. I've always wanted to do it, and to get the opportunity to put my word in, and I was able to pilot a program for cursive writing for 4 schools in the district, which was something I've wanted to do for many years. So
I know, I was surprised. I had a friend who taught at the Catholic schools, and she tells me that she retired. She said, they don't teach penmanship.
So I'm hoping that by this time next year we can get it to the whole district. So, with money issues and stuff, this was just a start.
And that was sort of what activated me to run back in 2010. My daughter was actually attending Beacon School in Bayonne, and then we actually transferred to Jersey City, and we saw the drop-off in reading. We saw the drop-off in writing. There were a lot of skills that my daughter had brought to the table that sort of were hindered by her placement in the Jersey City Public School, but through my relationships and my advocacy, we navigated. We got her to MS number 4. I heard you had 2 kids in MS number 4. We got her to McNair, and now she's a junior at Howard University in D.C.
Okay, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay. Now, Gina, are you on any particular committees?
I actually am chairing the facilities committee, and I chair a parent and community meeting every month, and also I'm a co-chair on the education committee. So I have more than most have. Most have at least 2 committees. I have 3.
Oh, you have 3
and I just got on.
Okay, that's fine. Is there any committee in particular that you think you'd be interested in?
The infrastructure, the facilities, definitely, and financial literacy. I would like to tackle that. Again, just sort of positioning kids to be successful in whatever avenues that might be, whether it's vocational. But again, there are certain skills that we as a school system, as a community, we need to empower our kids with, and that's why I'm looking into the financial literacy side.
Okay. Now, have you looked at the finances of the school? I mean, I taped, and it's on YouTube, a parent, it was an open public meeting. At that time, they were discussing a $125 million deficit. And they had sent out the, notices to all these teachers and administrators and support staff. I think it was 600 notices. And I never heard, why don't we start with you, Gina, how did they resolve that $125 million deficit?
So I was on the board when we passed the budget. I came in just in time, and I think it was more like 800 people were on the chopping block at that point.
800 people.
And
okay, that's
we
even
got
worse.
it. We narrowed it down to 54.
54 people.
Yes.
Now, were those 54 teachers, administrators?
I think it was a mix. I don't think it was just teachers. But also, I think the payroll tax, to be honest, was a big help to the budget.
But that's only
it was 28. It was 28 million.
28 million, but
yeah,
28
but it really
out of
plugged.
125?
It really did plug a big gap in the budget, though. We desperately needed it. So it was, I think, what the parents and the community did to get it, and this was prior to me getting on the board. My daughter and I were both there advocating at City Hall to get that. It's something that you were talking about earlier with the other candidates about, some of these buildings too that should be contributing to the schools. I think that is a big
well,
thing.
That's been my policy forever and ever is anti-tax abatement, especially at this day and age with $1 million condos and they don't pay.
Right.
And from what I can see, and the user-friendly budget is online on the jcboe.org website. The increase is in the 3 to 4 year old program, which I'm sure a lot of people on the waterfront have children. I've seen them, as well as the chartered schools.
So it's about foresight and planning, like you just said. We're increasing population downtown, as well as all areas through the city, and a lot of problems that we faced in the past and the present started years ago, and the board. Some elected officials as well didn't do their part to have proper planning for the future with this influx of population. And again, if a building goes up, we need to obligate a developer to, hey, you need to build a school as well as your building as well.
Right. Well, that's all city planning. Quite frankly, the schools kept nothing.
Well, yes and no. There's a relationship. So again, as the SID president, like we've just of Jackson Hill Main Street, we've negotiated and secured $300,000 from a developer, and he's building an as-a-right project. So there are relationships that you can foster to get things done. So with that, like I said, being the SID president, I'm advocating for the redevelopment plans to be opened up to make them as stringent as possible, to force developers to sit down at the table and basically have that discussion of, hey, what are you willing to do if you want to build here? Like we need to definitely slow down the development until we address these issues because they're not going anywhere.
Right. So, but that's not in your scope.
It's
in
not.
The Board of Ed.
But the relationships that you have and that I have, the relationships that I have within the city can foster that conversation and put it back on their plate and make it a topic for them. Whether that's putting a trust fund in place, putting on a ballot, educational trust fund to have long-term. Financial stability, or bring long-term financial stability to the school system. So these are things that some people might not think about, but as a collective, Change for Children has done a good job at that, and we've had these types of discussions.
Oh, okay. How did you get on the team?
Well, again, I ran in 2010. I've stayed active in the community. I was interested again.
Did you know somebody on the team?
I knew Gina Johnson through my relationship with Councilman Robinson. Like, she's a great help in the city, as well as to our team. And we were talking, and we just got together and then decided to move forward.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Okay, wonderful. Now, Gina, I know you haven't been there that long. You've been there since February. What would you like to see, going forward that you'd like to work on?
Well, right now, like I was saying earlier, with the parent and community meeting, I filter a lot of issues through there. So that way, there will be less of it at public comment during a board meeting. So we're alleviating a lot of the issues there, and then, because I think the board meeting should be the last stop. That should be your last stop to complain. We should be able to communicate on emails and phone calls and whatever it may be. So this has been very successful for the last couple months. I have people come in from the district, either from security. I'm having someone from Casper at my next meeting. And I think they appreciate the fact that I'm a parent too. So they can really respect that, and that and I have children in the district now, because now is what's happening, not what happened a couple years ago. What happening is now is that our kids are in kindergarten and they're learning first grade material. So everything's changed since the days of when we went to school.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I think that's, and I think also we touched upon the fact that like I went to PS16 yesterday. I saw the 6 buses that come in the morning to pick up 300 kids to go to Danforth. It's like we were saying earlier that places in Greenville those schools are not populated as much as they are downtown. Right. So a lot of times what happens is they'll filter those buses to the Danforth area. So that is something I would like to work on, some kind of solution to this, because I think 6 buses every morning, and it's going to just get bigger. That line of buses is just going to keep, because it did. I talked to the bus driver. They said, it used to be 3 buses, and now it's 6. And I'm like, this is not a stable solution to this issue. So.
Right. What about yourself? Do you have any issue in particular you mentioned? Well, you were talking about opening up the redevelopment plan, that type of thing.
Some issues to address. Some issues to address within the school, obviously, are the facilities.
Right.
We need to have a plan to maintain them and not have these issues of lead. Like I said, when I went to grammar school at PS number 15, there was chromium in the school. So that hindered my learning process. These other issues, again, like you just mentioned earlier, they don't have a CPA on staff. They don't have a facilities manager on staff. So how are you addressing these problems? Again, like our schools are the second home, or maybe even the first home, really, for some of our kids who are underserved and underprivileged, and we have to make sure that environment is up to par.
Okay, fine. Gina, why don't we start with you?
Sure.
Why don't you tell the audience why they should vote for you?
Sure. So I'm a parent right now that I have children in the school district, and have a vested interest in this. This is something that I've been working for since 2013. I've been constantly attending board meetings. I've been advocating for better food, better facilities. We're piloting a program at 15 right now with new water fountains. So we are attacking the water issue. And I want to do more on the board. I started in February, and I've already accomplished so many things. There was never a parent committee community meeting before I was there. The fact that trailers are going down and we're putting up beautiful play spaces, things that I've been working for years are finally coming to fruition, which makes me happy, but there's so much more that could be done. And I do want to have that opportunity to at least have another year to make more things happen.
Okay, fine. Anthony?
All right, along with the Change for Children team, I want to extend my dedication to the people of Jersey City and to our children, our teachers. Again, we want to just make sure that every dollar that's supposed to make it into the classroom is making it. We want to make sure that we create a proper environment. And again, that pathway is successful for all our children in Jersey City.
All right.
Vote for Change for Children, November 5th.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you both for being on. Best of luck. Don't forget to vote on Tuesday, November 5th. And, tell your friends and neighbors, and you can watch past shows, if you'd like, of various Board of Ed, not meetings, but interviews on YouTube. So thank you so much, and thanks for watching.